What's going on, guys? Bo here, back with some genetic gladiators. So let's get into this today. We're going to actually be checking out the beta. You guys probably did see some of the stuff about it. It does look like my normal account, but it is not. It is actually a mirrored version of my account from a couple days ago. So yeah, that's basically all it is. We do have the challenges. Well, basically, if you go into it, it's called the pit. This challenge is already closed, but all it was basically the normal event. So that one doesn't really matter too much. I was trying to record it, but my graphics card was acting up, so that's why I didn't upload the footage because it just looks pretty bad. But that one really didn't matter too much, so I'm lucky I did that. Like that one went away first. But we have the experiment raid, which are the two you're going to worry about. So basically, this event here is the normal event we would normally get. The rewards, however, I don't know if they're going to be set in stone. Even these rewards, I don't know exactly how they're going to do them, because it costs like 10k to go into this one, and then it costs gold to go into this one, but those can always change. So it costs 10 currently, but in the live version it could cost 2,000, 1,000. I don't know, it could be a different amount for each of these. You do have restrictions on character level, stars, and then gens. So it's basically just adding to the normal event we currently get, which was what this was. There wasn't really anything special on this one, so it didn't really matter too much that I didn't actually upload it. But it's just like the normal event. So like currently we have in the actual live game, we have the, I think the love event going on. The Valentine's Day event is basically what's going on, but that's basically what this would be if it was going on. You would have those two, and then you would have the experiment and raid, which are the two new things added in to the current beta. Maybe the looks a little bit different, but basically it's 100 floors for the first one, which is the normal stuff. You get rewards every 10 levels normally. The rewards this time were a little bit different, but I'm thinking those are just going to change. They're just placeholders. Like these two, like the gold and fame and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure they're just placeholders, and maybe they're trying to figure out how much they should be giving. Also, you're going to need a ton of passes. I forgot how much the normal event costs to go through in terms of passes. You can do the math. It's basically the same thing for the first event, and then we're going to be calculating the experiment and then the raid in terms of passes and fame and what else? I guess credits. Honestly, if they're going to have us do requirements and stuff like that, I feel like they should be giving us more. It costs 10k to go in. We do get 50k at the end, but it's 51. I forgot how many passes. It does increase for passes. Like the first one's 5. I think it follows the same route as the normal event, so it's like 5, 7, and so on and so forth. But there's only 51 in this. So I'm guessing like maybe halfway through it gets more expensive. I'm guessing towards the end it just gets more expensive, but you can actually see the reward list. You just have to go through each of these, which of course it's beta, so they're probably fixing that. Credits, we only get 800. Fame and EXP, you only get 80. Honestly, they either need to increase those, or, well, for the first like 50, like for half the event, it shouldn't be like, it doesn't have to be that high. But I feel like if we're gonna have multiple events, so you basically go through the first one, which normally takes, I say 2 hours. It could take less, it could take more. So 2.5 hours, depending on how fast you actually want to go through the event. I'm guessing it's going to be about the same for each of the other two, raid being the longest because it's 200 rounds. So it's basically double the normal event, and then you have experiment, which is about half. But with the experiment and then the raid, there are restrictions. The experiment being more restrict because of the no stars. summary, is it summary? Yeah, because of the no stars. So it might take a little bit longer just depending on what you have. You might have to level up characters. In all, it'd probably take you anywhere between, if you rush through all of them and your characters or your evo is crazy high, 4 to 6 hours maybe a little bit, 4 being the minimum. If you're just one-shotting everything with tri-attack characters and going first, it's going to take you about 4.5 hours, and then maybe 6 hours if it might take you a little bit longer. But yeah, we're going to be doing the experiment and then the Inferno or the raid. So yeah, we're gonna be doing those. The experiment shouldn't take too long. The raid I might have to split up, maybe 2. I mean, I was thinking 4 videos because it's gonna take about 2 hours. We'll say about 2-3 hours, because the normal one's about 2 hours, maybe even 4 actually. I don't know how hard it actually get towards the end, or which characters I want to be using in general. But it's going to be a while, so there's that. We do have rewards for completing challenges as well. I think these are placeholders as well, so that's pretty much the same thing, but I wouldn't guarantee the rewards to be the same, just because they can always change them. They could always add more. They could always they could always be changing them. But I feel like they need to put more of these, and they have been doing it a little bit more, but it should come in every time PvP or PvE. Well, not really PvP, I guess PvE resets. And then with the new stuff that they're going to be adding in, it should help quite a bit more as well. But yeah, let's get into the experiment. I think we'll do, I don't know how much I actually want to get done. I guess I could do the whole thing, honestly. It's just I don't want to make the video too long, and then yeah, that would be interesting. I honestly don't know how I want to split these up. Like, I'm pretty sure I can rush through these. All right, so the level requirements is no stars, so you can use all the characters that are technically event characters. What you have is all dependent upon what characters you have, honestly. You could also just level, like if you want to use X27, I don't know, any of those characters with an actual star, you just basically have to make them without a star now. And then if you want to use them, you would have to level them, put them on your rooftop, and that's basically how you would get the character. I don't even know if I have any. The final rewards for this are going to be a character. It's not like the first one that's going to come out. These aren't guaranteed rewards, so take that as you will, but this is basically what it's going to look like. You get a character, you get some credits, and you get a star. Thank God they give us gold stars, because yeah, we really need some of those. It costs 10k credits to get in, so it's really not that expensive. I think the main thing is passes, because if you're a lot lower level, well, you do get 2 weeks to beat it, so you should have enough passes. But I was gonna say they should increase the amount of passes we can actually hold, because currently you can have a max of 100. But most people just end up buying passes, so it's really not that big a deal. But let's get through it. First levels are going to be 4, so it's not going to be that hard. Yeah, and then 800 credits. You guys can do the math in terms of experience and fame, but I feel like they need to increase those, especially since this is just extra. Well, I guess it depends on which one you're going to do. So we have a ton of bakers. We have Colossus, which technically counts. Surfer, No Ren, stuff like that. I guess I should level some of these guys. It doesn't really matter to level these guys currently, just for the fact that this is just an account that's going to get deleted later. We have a ton of people for tags and stuff like that. We're just going to go through without using any of the tags. yeah, it shouldn't take too long, but I guess it depends on where you start. I'm guessing most people, depending upon how the last event works, the raid, because it's currently 10 gold for that first one, but they could be like every 10 floors you have to pay 10, or it maybe increases, it goes from 10 to 50 to 100, because there's 200 floors. So until we actually go through that, I'm not too sure, but they do need to figure out the experience and stuff like that, because people that are going to be doing a raid, unless I don't know how the experience works in that, honestly. Like the experiment one looks pretty much like the previous event or the normal events we have in terms of experience and fame and stuff like that, but that needs to be increased, because if you have the normal event, which most people are going to do anyway for characters, well, if they do add the characters into the other 2 slots, they don't really have to add one for the original event anymore, which some people might not like, so there is that. But I mean, you would be getting 2 characters instead of 1. It's just, I don't know what sort of levels you would actually need to get all the way through both of them. I mean, the normal event you could probably get through, I think you can probably get through halfway with like level 15 Evo, maybe a little bit higher, plus you got the tags. So we'll say level 30 Evo, just minimum to get through like a normal event. And then with the raid, I'm guessing the first 100 is going to be sort of like the original event, and then the levels are starting to climb after that. But yeah, we'll see when we actually do that one. That one I'm definitely going to have to split up though. I don't know how you guys want me to do that, because it's going to be a minimum of at least 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take to get through, but it is going to take quite a bit of time to get through that event. So yeah, we're going to have to split that up into sections. But I will have to figure out how much all the I'm kind of curious how many passes in each of the events it actually takes to get through them all. Because currently the normal event already takes quite a bit of passes. It doesn't really matter to people who have a ton of friends or just a ton of passes in general, or a ton of credits, because we can just buy a ton of them, so it's really not that big of a deal. We'll probably have to buy, I mean, the normal events plus the experiment and then the raid is probably going to be a minimum of, let's say we'll double the normal events, we'll say 5,000 passes, plus the normal event would be about 7. So it would be anywhere between what, like 8, depending on this event. I don't know if they scale the passes for these. So far we're paying like 6, so it's really not that bad. But yeah, it's gonna be up there for sure. The raids are the one I'm more curious about though, because like from floors 100 to 200, if it's anything like because they've had events where it goes to 200 or even beyond that, but they do try to keep it to a minimum amount and not go over like 20 passes, 50, 100, or some crazy amount of passes. Because normal people, if they didn't buy the extra passes, would only have 50. And then everyone that buys the extra 50, if you're wondering how I have 100. So, and then not everyone's going to have credits, especially if they're newer. So, yeah, it's just interesting. It is very, very interesting to see how many passes it's going to actually take to get through all of the events. but you don't technically have to, like, let's say this was a normal event, like the first event really didn't have anything in it. There was challenge tokens, some other rewards, which are the basic rewards, but there wasn't really anything. It was just it was pretty much a normal event. And then the experiment, the one we're doing now, I think is more for the end. So I don't think we get anything besides the end rewards, besides credits and stuff like that. But I guess we'll see here in a little bit. Shouldn't take us too long to get through these. But you will have to start leveling character. Well, I guess it depends on what you have. Like if you have Colossus, or there's a few other characters that are considered just normal characters without stars. Whether they take that back or not, because some characters, like Colossus, technically, I think is a starred well, he's technically a starred character without a star, but there's a few characters that have they don't have a star, but then like if you go into their page, it has a star. So I wonder if we can actually use any of those. I'm trying to think of a character that has that. Do I have any on my rooftop? I mean, I could set up my rooftop a little bit differently to try some of the other characters out as well. I don't know if we're gonna actually get multiple events to go through, because the thing's gonna last a week. So, I mean, we have these events, which, as you can see, the timer, it says a day. Well, when we first got them, it was 2 days. But it's a day, 15 hours. And then this one was only 12 hours or something like that. So that's why it's gone. But that one's fine. It was just like normal events, so it wasn't too big of a deal. It's just, yeah, it kind of sucks how my graphics card started acting up. So that's why I didn't get that one up. But I'll get this one, and then actually we're probably going to be doing both of these. Let's just get them both up. Or I might get this one up, and then I was thinking about streaming the raid, but it's going to take way too long to download that video and cut it up afterwards. Yeah, so normally you would get rewards every 10. Maybe they're doing it every 20. I don't know. We'll see here in a second. But I'm trying to think of characters that would currently have no star but be technically a star. I know there's I'm trying to think of one. Maybe this one. So like you can see it technically is a star, but it doesn't have a star. I'm thinking this one would be because it has that though. Maybe see this one would work for that event. Hold up, let me make a spot real quick. It doesn't really matter what I put away because yeah, so you guys better start leveling up your characters. If you guys are wondering when this is coming out, no available. Wait, can I not move? Oh. Move. Oh, we can move. Why come I couldn't click on him then? That's pretty weird. Yeah, so if you guys are not, or if you guys don't have any characters that aren't leveled, that don't have a star, I would start leveling some of them now. The amount of time it's going to take for them to actually get it implemented, I don't know. Could be a month, could be a little bit longer. Who knows, honestly. I would expect it sometime in the next couple months, most likely. That'd be my guess. I mean, it could be out sooner than that. It's just we don't know how many bugs are actually in the game. So, plus they haven't even tested it on Android, which I think comes out later this week as well. Same with iOS, I think. But so far it seems pretty normal. I do think they should increase the experience though. Because like having the normal amounts and stuff like that for extra content that people might not do. I don't know why I have that as well. That's an old quest. I don't know why that's popping up. I mean, how much do we usually get for the normal one? 160 at 11. I mean, I still gotta go do the other event, so I might actually see 7 passes. Wait, did we get the other character? I don't think we did we? Nah, so if they have that, then so they basically just have to have no star. Which there's a ton of characters that are really good that don't have any stars, and of course it crashes. Which is normal, considering it's a beta. Although it crashes sometimes anyway, so take that as you will. But I will do the raid. I don't think I'm gonna do commentary on that one, considering it's gonna take forever. I think I'm gonna split that one up in well, the first 100 are probably gonna be the exact same thing as a normal event, I would imagine. They're just adding 100 on top of it, so that's 351 fights instead of the normal 100. We had one. We did have one that went to 2. Did we have one that went to 3? So maybe that's what they were testing when they were doing that as well. Increasing the amount, because this is basically what that is, but just split up into 3 different things with more rewards. Because when they had it originally for like the event, I don't know if you guys remember when we had the original event and it had like more than 100 fights and stuff like that, we couldn't see all the rewards. So maybe they're having an issue with that, so they split them up. I feel like that was a test for this for sure, because that's about 300. This is 351. I do like the little outlines to them though. Yeah, this one I'm curious about as well. Getting the exclusive character is always nice, but hopefully they add in other stuff besides that as well. What I mean by that is, like, if we're already gonna, like, if we're gonna get a character, let's say we get one in the beginning, like the normal event, we'll get a normal character for everyone to get, and then the experiment, maybe we get an increased instead of like a character, or maybe we get another character since it's only 51, so people can get 2 different characters. But then on the raid, instead of getting like another character, maybe they give us gold, or maybe they implement a new building. Honestly, they really need to implement a new building for gold. It could be the exact same thing as the Forge and Furnace, but I feel like it should be capped. So maybe you pay 2,000 or 4,000 to complete a raid, or to compete in the raid, but you have a chance to double it at the end. But even if you get to the end, it still takes how long does it normally take? It takes what, like two days for 50 gold, and then you would do that until it expired with 8,000. I mean, they couldn't make it too long, but they couldn't make it too short either. So at least maybe a month, anywhere from like anything over like 2 weeks would be nice. But having permanent ones was definitely an issue in terms of gold, and I feel like them capping it would be nice, or just I was gonna say, or just double it, like we pay 2k, go through the raid, and then you get 4. But I feel like that's too easy, because then everyone would just get that done instantly and they would have extra gold. They would have to spread it out. So maybe it does take 2 weeks for you to get the gold back, and then let's say you beat it on the first day, because these events last, normally it's 2 weeks, so I'm guessing that's how long they're going to be lasting, and then you get the gold back in 2 weeks, so that way you can do the next one. Maybe do one of those every like month, or maybe every 2 months or something like that. I don't know. They need to find more ways to give gold and then more ways to start spending gold. Which we do have the jackpot stuff, but yeah, they need to work on that next. In terms of tokens, rewards that reward you probably monthly for spending a certain amount, so like tiered rewards inside of the jackpot tokens or characters and stuff like that. So you spend a certain amount, you get a certain reward or something like that. Just ways for people to start spending gold, because currently we have people who have a ton of gold. Like, I would have a ton of gold as well. Well, I do have a ton of gold compared to other people, but I don't have to do anything for it. All I have to do is sign in every 2 days. Sometimes I forget too, but it's every 2 days, and we're guaranteed, depending on how many you have, you're guaranteed that amount of gold every 2 days. So yeah, that's a little bit of an issue. So they need to find ways for us to, or for people who don't have the forges and furnaces, because either they started playing recently or stuff like that, because you can get them in the bingo, but you're getting what, maybe, how many would you actually get? I think forges, like, you don't get that many. I think in all you get like 6, 5. I don't know, we could actually go check and count them, but they're not guaranteed forges. I think there's like 2 forges and 4 furnaces, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know, there's not that many, but there's about maybe a couple hundred gold there, which is guaranteed, but then you have to spend thousands and thousands just to get those in terms of characters. Yeah, so I mean, they could increase the bingos, but they wouldn't. I don't think they would put in more forges and furnaces unless they start capping those at maybe, I don't know, double, or maybe even like, honestly, if they put out forges and furnaces, that would increase your, like, let's say you bought it for 1,000 but it only gives you 1,500, people would still do it, but it would still take, I don't know, quite a while, considering it only gives you 50, or the other one gives you 5 every 12, so that would take forever to get back, but people would still have them. I don't know, there's a ton of things they can do. I don't think the rewards are going to be set in stone, though, in terms of characters and stuff like that, because it's a lot of yeah, that thing disappeared. Yeah, it's just basic rewards that we're getting at this point. I don't think that matters too much, though. 2,000 credits. Yeah, I feel like the credits either, well, it should be increased, honestly. But the main thing that needs to be increased is experience. Fame, I guess you don't really have to, but experience, you should increase the experience, because like, even at maybe EVO like 30, 40, stuff like that, the amount of experience you need is still quite a bit for the stuff you're going to be doing. And if you're spending thousands, let's say you don't have that many, let's say you get maybe, I don't know, 100, 500 gifts a day. Some people probably won't even get that. We'll say about 100. We'll say you get about 100 gifts a day. Not all of them are going to be passes, so we'll say what, like 80 of those maybe are passes. We could probably even drop it down to like 70 of those are passes. And then in those, maybe every few are like 5. So we'll just say you get like 100 passes and all. every day, and then you also have the regen amount. Let's say you're stuck at 50. That's still, how long would that take you to regen? Like 4 hours? Because mine takes a while at 100. So let's see. I mean, we have 5. Yeah, it takes 8. So it's about 4 hours for 50. Now let's say you have the 100 then, because it's 8 hours. Yeah, that would take you forever to get done. Like, imagine how many passes you would need, and then maybe you're not spending credits to buy more passes. I don't know. They either need to give us. Well, I don't think they need to give us more ways to get passes. I don't know what they could do, honestly. I was gonna say they could give us more ways to get passes, but maybe a weekly pack or like an experimental pack for credits. Because not everyone has gold, so they couldn't really sell it for gold. They do have a pack for gold, but it's really not a good price for the amount of passes that it actually gives. I don't know. They gotta be able to do something in terms of passes, because I feel like currently, like if we were to go through all the events, let's say, even if you've been playing a while, let's say you've been playing a couple months, there's no way you're gonna have 7,000 credits or passes just sitting there. Like even currently I don't have I have 4,000, and the amount of time it would take for me to regen this, yeah, I could do the event probably in 2 weeks, but I would have to make sure I get on every 8 hours, or even like an hour before that, just to use the passes. So they either need to increase this in order for us to have 200 or something like that. So like maybe 150. I think 150 would be a good amount, because that's what, like, it's an extra 4 hours on top of 8 if you already have this one. So 12 hours, like, that's a good amount of sleep. Do it in the morning, do it at night. Yeah, I think 150 would be a good amount. Honestly, I would prefer 200, but I think that's a little bit too much. But increasing it by 50 would help in terms of the events for people that don't have a ton of friends, or that don't want to add a ton of people on Facebook. Or on mobile, because the mobile version for the mail and stuff like that is very, very, very bad. Like if you don't have that many people, it's like fine. But if you have over like 100, or even maybe 2, I think 2 or 3, once you start getting over the 100 amount, it starts getting, like, it just starts crashing. There's nothing, like, if I were to go do it now on my account where there's like 800-900 gifts every day, that it just breaks. Like, you can't even open the mail and stuff like that. So they either need to figure out a way to figure out the mail system, which I highly doubt, or just give us different avenue for passes. Because yeah, I do like the mail and getting passes in there, but not everybody's gonna add a ton of people, and not everybody's gonna want that many people on their thing. And there's no way, if you're at 50 and a lot lower level, there's no way you're gonna have a spare. Like, even if this is Endgame, like, I guess you can call it Endgame, because like the normal events, you would be level 30, which the passes in that is alright, but it still takes a while to get through. I don't know, they would have to find a way to do it. Selling them for passes, or selling passes for credits does help, which you can already buy, but you would have to maybe do one of those packs, like sell like 1,000 for, I don't know how many you could currently buy 1,000 for, but maybe like 50% off of that or something like that, and like 1,000 may be a lot now for the amount of event, like because we usually get one event, so 1,000 might be a lot now. But if they're adding in 3 different events, and there's no guarantee that each of these events is going to be always, like this one's 200, like this one is 51 and this one's 100, but they could make it 100, 150, 200. I mean, they could just increase the rounds. So they're like, even with a minimum of 300 rounds, like if they knocked 50 off of raid and stuff like that, the amount of passes you need is pretty insane, even for 2 weeks. Like, that's, I feel like, too much to ask for just a casual player to get that many passes, or like set an alarm for every, like, because some people don't even, like, even if they have enough gold, they don't want to spend the gold to get an extra 50 passes, just because it's not really like worth it at their level they're at, or they're just not getting gold like me. Like, let's say I didn't have the forges and furnaces and stuff like that, and I wasn't getting gold like that, and the only way I could get gold was from leveling. The experience I need to level currently is insane, so they either need to add different avenues of figuring out EXP and fame. With these events, I feel like they could increase the experience, because that's just for characters, and that does help in the leveling process of characters, especially for stuff like this, to where you're just using random characters you would never use. So getting that extra experience would definitely help. So increasing that first off is a given. Like that, like 240, even at level 30, the amount of experience you need is like, let me go down to a lower level character. Let's go to the, let's take off him too. Like, both of these guys are at 36 and 32. Like, let's see how much 200, like, even with I think, I don't know if both of them have even with experience orbs, I feel like it's still not a lot. So yeah, they definitely need to increase the experience. They don't have to increase the fame per se. Honestly, they should. Well, maybe not for the first like half of the event, but for the later half, or even for the last 10 fights, they need more fame, because you need more of and it's alright. So we have one with 3s, and then that one doesn't have anything. I could put on 4s as well, but let's see how much we actually get currently, because I am very curious. Like, these guys are level 30, so I mean, leveling them isn't that hard, but your fame is slowly going to continue to increase, and yeah, like, depending upon your fame, like right now we might get a little bit of experience, but for my higher level characters, you're not getting anything. Let's see. Look at the bar. That's 800 to 200. So if you didn't have orbs and you had level 3s, it increases a little bit. Yeah, I feel like they should increase the amount of experience. Not technically fame, because fame at the lower levels, it isn't as bad, but once you get past that 150 mark, it starts getting a lot worse. And then also, there is places to get fame. Mainly you would be doing PvP, and you could also farm, I guess, but with the amount of passes you need for, like, let's say this event was already in, the amount of passes you need for this, and let's say you would normally farm, maybe instead of farming PvP, because sometimes to level characters I won't even go do PvP, just because PvP is so broken currently, that for me it's not really worth doing PvP. Like, I played the other day and I was just messing around in it, and it's so broken. Yeah, it's pretty broken. So One thing I do want to try on this though is the fact that if you lag out, what happens to your passes. That's one thing I actually wanted to try. Because I feel like they should either give you those passes back at a later date, maybe the next day or something like that in your inbox or something, or even just giving you half back. But taking them away and counting it as losing them kind of sucks, honestly. Alright, so it costs 9. We're currently at 32. I'm going to start this up, maybe kill one character, and then I'm going to basically just refresh the page. And hopefully that would count as a freeze, because I can't make it freeze. I mean, it might freeze. I mean, it probably has frozen for some people, but I can't make it do that to test that out. But I can refresh the page, which technically still would do the same thing because you can't go back into the same fight. So they need to figure out something for that as well. And compensating you for that or giving you at least half back is a lot better than losing it. So we'll kill this last one and then we'll refresh because I want to see what happens. So like right now, let's say it freezes. Like I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. I have to reload. We're at 32 passes. It might not take the passes from me just because it didn't technically freeze, but it should still work the same way. Because this basically, if it freezes, the only thing you can do is refresh. So it does take the passes, and I don't think I've passed that floor. And I doubt, like, you shouldn't pass the floor just by refreshing, because that'd be kind of a bug. Because all you would have to do is refresh. That's gonna take a little bit to load though. Alright, let's see. 43%. Nope. Yeah, so you would base it, let's say it would like, ooh, that's gonna be a problem. Cause like right now, like you've seen it crash maybe once. I'm guessing like when it, like if they do actually release it with more people on, like the first day or something like that, it's gonna crash quite a bit. Just because that's usually what happens, even with a beta and all the testing in the world. I mean, look at big AAA titles, they crash all the time, so they're gonna have to figure out something for that. Getting at least half your credits back, or passes back, honestly you should get them all back, considering like you didn't lose. And although that's not really a good idea either, they can't really do anything with that. Maybe just compensate you. Oh, that's really not a good idea either. Yeah, you would just lose those, because like if they do that, then everyone's just gonna refresh. If they're about to lose, and then they would just get their credits back, and you could just abuse it. And then I was gonna say maybe they can give you like 100 experience or like half the experience, but then they would abuse that as well. I don't know what they could do for that. I feel like that's gonna be an issue, because I've crashed once and I wasn't paying attention, and I'm pretty sure I lost passes there. So, and then let's say we're playing a new there isn't really anything they can do about that. Because anything I can think of a way to abuse it. So that's I think that's why they just let it lose passes, because it deters people from doing that when they're about to lose. I think that's why they didn't do it in PvP. Because like if you're about to lose, you just close the game. Yeah, they can't really compensate you with anything for that. That's kind of unfortunate too. Like there's literally nothing they can do about that. Because the other thing I was like, oh, maybe if it does it like a multiple amount of times, then they'll give you something back. But then you just basically refresh until it gives you something. Although that's really not very that efficient, but I could see people abusing it. So for people that are gonna complain about crashing and stuff like that, when they do add in any new events or anything like that, just and you guys don't have a ton of passes, just don't do too many of them. I don't know. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, we're getting an alright amount of experience. Honestly, I feel like it should be more though. Like if these are extra, I guess maybe they increase the original event experience and fame, and then leave these at what they are. Because then that would promote. I mean, they could do it just like pick one of them and then like have 50% experience boost on, let's say, so like they have all three of these, and then each week it changes. Like this one will get 50% on top of whatever you have. So even with the boosts in terms of the, which I have on by the way, oh, I don't have them on. Wait, did they take? Yeah, I think they took all those off. Wait, can I add them back on? The power-ups, even with the power-ups, that's 150 and then 200. So 200 and then, or it's 100. So basically it would add in an extra 50. So it would be 350 on top of the 300 plus the orbs. For EXP, and then have one of them maybe fame, and then maybe one of them increase credits. They can do it like that for, instead of increase them all as a whole, which I think they should do in general. If they're gonna add this many events in, because they gotta give more incentive to do one over the other. Or even just do them in general, like, because maybe you've been playing a while, and then let's say they do give us 3, I forgot which one am I missing? I don't think I'm missing any now. Yeah, there's 300%, but on these, let's say they are giving both of these away. I currently already have both of these. I don't technically need them, and especially with this one, let's say it costs, it says 10, maybe it costs 1,000 altogether, or maybe for the first 100 floors it costs 10, and then for the last 100 it costs 950 or something like that, or 990, or basically in all it costs 1,000. But I don't technically need to go for the character, don't really need the fame, don't really need to waste the passes. The credits are okay, but I can get more credits by leveling my characters and stuff like that from the rooftop. So there's other ways to get credits besides that. So there has to be another incentive into doing all 3 of these if you already have. Like the first one, there's probably an incentive because of the extra rewards every 10 levels. So far this one, we haven't got any other extra rewards, which I understand because the reward is supposed to be the one at the end. So I feel like this one, maybe they should have the 50% boost, or maybe even 100% boost, or maybe have it at random. But maybe they have like 1 increased boost credits, 1 experience, and 1 fame, and then it changes between the 3 every week. And then, or maybe it changes the amount, or maybe we're having like the Valentine's Day event, and this one's a Valentine's Day character, this one's I don't know, stars or something like that, and then this one would be whatever the hell, they just regular normal rewards or something like that. But I don't need any of them, and this one costs gold to go into, So I'm more hesitant to do that one. Like getting these two done, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a restriction and stuff like that. But if they would add on also increase in credits or fame or all three, or like when you go to this page where you pay, there's also like a boost, so you would pay on top of the current amount. So let's say you have 10, well, it says 10, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. A lot of people are like, oh, it's only going to be 10. I don't think it's going to be 10. I think it's going to be half of the character's amount. So a normal character costs 3k, so I think it's going to be 1,500 at least, or maybe even 1,000 if they want to drop it below that. But then you can pay maybe 100 gold to increase it by 5% in terms of fame or experience and stuff like that. I think that's the next step in terms of, like, even if they don't add these in, just the normal event, I think they should add that into it. Because I feel like just increasing these overall would be nice, but I don't feel like they'll do that just because people say to do it. Plus there'll be another gold sink, and if they add in gold itself as not the main reward, but a forge that decays over a certain amount, like minimum, it gives you 5,000 or something. Yeah, you could level up your evo and stuff like that, but you could also increase your fame, credits, or double the rewards. That'd be interesting. Although doubling the character at the end would be kind of weird, but maybe they do that for like at the 10th floor, let's say there's a reward and then they have gold star and you can double it. Basically it's sort of like in the what is it, the black hole, where you can spend a certain amount to increase it. Instead of just getting one back, you get multiple back. Maybe they could do that, double the reward. Not for every floor, not for the entire event, but just for that one. And maybe you don't have to pay that much. Maybe you pay 10 for that one, and then it doubles the reward there, or something like that. Or maybe you use credits. You don't even have to use gold. Maybe you use credits to increase credit amount. So instead of getting 2,400, I would get 48 because I spent, I don't know, a couple 10,000 credits or whatever amount of credits it would be for the increase. Or maybe it's 5% costs a little bit, and then to add 5% more up to 50% or 25% or 100%, something like that. That'd be nice. Because leveling characters currently is kind of very, very boring, and if they're gonna start adding in more characters, which I don't know when they're gonna do that, but at some point I'm guessing they are gonna at least start adding in some every couple months or something like that. For people that have an insanely high evo, which your evo should be growing always, whether it's through credits and stuff like that. Like we have a discount going on, I think it started today. It should always be increasing, so getting that level up is, or getting that little extra boost to level up is very helpful. But yeah, I don't know, there's a ton of stuff that they can actually do. In terms of what they can actually do, I don't know, because yeah, I don't know, they usually have quite a bit of issues, it looks like, in terms of not adding, like, I guess it depends on what they're adding in, but like there's certain things that looks like it's just harder to do, either because of the code or like I don't know exactly what's holds them back on certain things, but yeah, it does depend. Like, I don't know exactly what they can do and what they can't do, but there is stuff that they can implement to help. Or like, they already have the power-ups. I don't know exactly if they could take away power-ups or add power-ups, but adding one for experience, fame and credits. That's another good idea. Or just do it in the event itself. I don't know which one's easier, but stuff like that. Like there's always a trade-off to one or the other, and whichever one's easier, I feel like they should go for. Because we definitely like we're getting content now, but we definitely need more content. Yeah, these guys are definitely getting stronger as well. If you guys haven't noticed. But I don't know. Like, there's a ton of stuff that I think they can work on. I mean, I'm glad they're actually taking an interest in terms of the event, the PvE event, because it hasn't been changed since the game came out. Like, we've had these same events since the beginning of the game. Even if they just added in the extra floors, it was still the same thing. This is still technically the same thing, but they can do more with it in terms of restricting levels. If they can restrict levels or stuff like that, I'm guessing they can also increase fame and stuff like that. Whether they could add in something to increase it where we actually pay, like increase it by like 5%, 100% of it, or like, I don't know, just splitting that up would be nice, because like 300 doesn't seem worth it. It's really not. Like even 300 at level 4 orbs plus the extra 300% boost is not that much. It really isn't. Plus we're only getting 300 fame, which doesn't boost at all. Like there's no boost for that currently in the game, so it's only 300. So at least with the experience, there's other stuff, orbs and stuff like that, that like they could just increase the orb level of experience boost ones, although they would have to sell those, which I guess is another gold sink. And then we're wasting 10 passes. Or maybe I'm trying to think of a way. I mean, there's a few ways they can decrease the passes, because I'm trying to think, like, let's say I'm level, because I do have an ult and I've been playing on it, and I noticed like I'm only like level 15 in terms of evo, but I was just waiting for the discount. I think I'll be at like 20, maybe even I'll get close to 30. Either way, the main thing I noticed is there's not, like, even if I had 1,000 people and I start getting gifts from them and stuff like that, there isn't really a way beyond that besides spending with credits, which I feel like they think everyone has millions of credits. Like, yeah, like on that account I may have 5 million credits or something like that, but that takes a while to get. That takes a ton of mail and stuff like that, so that's adding a bunch of people. And like, I'm not even getting that much credits from the rooftop. There's like a couple thousand or something like that, just because I don't have deluxe zones. Like, I mean, yeah, you should be trying to go for all that stuff, but I feel like they should also take into account not everyone is gonna have 7,000 extra credits laying around, even over a 2 weeks period of time. Let's say you can only get on once a day for, I don't know, like, you can get on once a day and spend your credits, or spend your passes, and that's it. Like, that doesn't really help in terms of the event, because, like, let's say you even have 100, that's 100, and then of course you have the inbox. Let's say you get 100 from there, that's 200. It's 200 passes every day, and you need upwards of 7,000 compared to what we need now. And there's people that barely get the event done now, so they definitely need to increase the pass amount or decrease the amount it takes for the original event, and or vary it depending upon which event they want people to do. Like the original event that we always get, I feel like the passes in that should be cut in half. And then if they're gonna add the experiment and then the raid, experiment should maybe be like the normal amount, and then the raid should be the increased amount, because I think that's what they want as sort of like the higher level stuff. But yeah, I don't know if they think everyone has like a crazy amount of passes, because even on that account, I've been playing it for a couple months and I spend most of my passes on, like, I was trying to do the previous event. I made it like halfway through that event, so like level 50. I'm only Evo 15, so like, and that took me a while to get through, just playing once a day for a little bit, even with the passes that you get from the inbox, which I think on that one I only get like 100 plus mail a day, just because I haven't added too many people. I do add people quite a bit, but even if I had a max 4K friends list, not everyone's going to give you passes every single day. Your tag's not going to be used as often, so you're not getting the extra pass there, which I think like the higher level people have a ton of passes, or higher fame, not even Evo level, but just fame level, have a higher amount of passes coming through just because they have people using their tag all the time because they pop up first. So there isn't really a way for them to change that. Yeah, there isn't really a way for them to change the way the tag system works in this game either. Even if they change the way we can pick our tag, there isn't a way for them to, because the higher ones are always going to show up first. I don't know. But yeah, they need to find different ways for us to get passes. I mean, login rewards would probably be your best bet. Maybe daily rewards. But they're gonna have to increase the passes. I think they think if they increase the passes, then everyone's gonna start just getting a crazy amount of levels. But I mean, levels matter, but you don't really get levels from events. So they either need to lower the pass count for all the events, or increase the passes, which I don't, or maybe make different sets of passes, which I don't think they would do. So they would have event ones, and then they would have like a normal division one. So have them split up, sort of like stamina, and then like in other games where there's arena and there's two different systems for a timer. So they would have the division one, and then they would have the event one, and then maybe that one's increased, or maybe they'll add a way to increase it as you play from event to event. Maybe like complete the event, get 10 extra. I don't know. There's a ton of stuff that they can do. Whoa, what is that? Why is it overlapping with mine? So mine's is this one, the 35, and then this is the characters. Although that happens in the normal game, so I don't know. There's a lot of stuff they can do, like 2,000. Not really that much. Even if my Evo level was only, I don't know, what's sort of high, but not too, like 50. Let's say my Evo was 50 to 100. Like in between those two, even that, they're gonna struggle for passes unless they're doing the credit farm, which I don't know. Like the credit farm, I don't know. Like it's I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's a good and bad thing at the same time. Like the way it works. Because I don't know, they couldn't really change it now. But even at 50, let's say you barely got the bounty, or maybe you do have banker, I don't know, the only other thing I could think of is just adding the orb for credits increase, but then most people would just put those on bounty or bankers and stuff like that, unless they restrict them to characters that don't have an increased credit or something like that. But then people wouldn't use them unless they compete with bounty hunter and stuff like that. Because I'm trying to think, like, yeah, there's 2 characters that can increase your credits and stuff like that, but what if people don't have those? So there's got to be a way for newer players to start building up their credit. Like, if that's gonna be a feature in game, to basically have a credit farm, which is just have a bunch of the same characters on your rooftop, which I don't think when they added that in that they were intending for that to happen. But yeah, I seen that coming way back when they had it in the banker, because people instantly bought entire rooftops full of banker, which back then it was actual gold that you were spending. So I don't think they seen that as a problem, but then they added in the bounty, which now like so many people have because they sold it, which people didn't really know about. But yeah, since they sold that, the amount of people with those now, and the amount that people are filling the rooftops with them and stuff like that just to farm credits, is pretty insane. Like, the only reason I haven't done it is because I just don't want to do it. I don't want to level. Like, I don't want to sit there and level in PvP. Like, that's the best way to level. And unless they do something about increasing the amount, even if they just let us boost, sort of like I don't know if you guys play Bleach, but like even in this, or maybe even in maybe in just a regular campaign, let us boost the amount of experience and stuff like that we get, or just let us have, I don't know, there's a few things they can do. I don't know exactly what they could do to the game, or what they can add and what they can, but there's a few options that they could definitely go with. But I feel like for lower level players, I don't think they're definitely gonna have to choose if they don't have either a credit farm to buy more passes, a ton of people on their friends list, or the time, because time is definitely an issue with the passes being either at 50 if you didn't buy them, or even at 100. It's like 8 hours. Like, this just like every 8 hours you would have to get on, use 100, 8 hours, get on, use 100, but you would still need an insane amount. And then for lower levels, they might not be able to get through raid. Even the experiments is starting to get a lot harder. I mean, I think as long as your evo is probably around 50, the first 2 should be perfectly, you should be able to get through them, even if you gotta use a tag or something like that. This one might be a little bit trickier just because of the restrictions on it, but I still feel like you should be able to get through it, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Also, they need to do something about the heals, man. Like, yeah, I like the med packs and stuff like that, but the increase in healing for the regen needs to be different. Like, currently it's not scaled, and it needs to scale to maybe like a times 10, or like a higher amount. Like, even if it's a shorter time span or something like that, or maybe we can speed them up, so that way instead of it taking, I don't know how long it would actually take for one of my characters to heal up, but like even at a Evo 100, it would take forever to heal up. Although I don't think they want to do that as much just because of PvP. But then again, like PvP, they can always restrict the amount of fights you can get into in PvP by just putting a cap on it, which I don't think people want. But PvP is already broken, so I honestly I don't even look at PvP and think that it's anything worth going for anymore. Yeah, you can make your way to the top 1%, but it's not worth it. The amount of time you're gonna have to put in, the amount of med packs, the amount of just like if you want to refresh credits, like it's just forever getting worse and worse, and the way the system works in general isn't that good. But yeah, they need to figure out the passes for this though, because what, like 7,000 plus passes? Like even I don't have 7,000 plus passes. Well, I used to, like when I was playing every single day and stuff like that. Yeah, I could get up to, I think at one point I had like 20k passes. So over time you can build up that many, but that's assuming you're not spending them. Like most people are probably spending them. Like I'm buying them with credits, but like I could just spend the ones I have and save the credits for Evo or stuff like that. So a lot stronger. I should probably not use. Maybe we'll use these two. But yeah, I guess it just depends on what they're actually thinking. Like raid, I understand it being a lot more passes, but like 3 different events with lower level players, they're definitely gonna have a problem. Even if they buy passes, like they're just gonna get behind at a certain point because they're wasting credits that they could do Evo with and stuff like that. I mean, guess they would never really catch up to people that have credit farms and gold forges and furnaces and stuff like that, because they would just forever keep increasing. But yeah, they definitely need to figure out the passes, because I feel like it's too big of an ask. Like the raid, I understand, like having a high pass count to get through that. I kind of understand that, but at the same time, it should all. But you're also spending gold. That's the thing. Like if you're spending gold, and you're not getting any gold back, by the way, so people are losing gold. They're losing a ton of passes. Like they're spending a ton of stuff. Maybe they want the character, maybe not. Like, because they're assuming everybody that's gonna go through raid needs that character. But unless they're planning out and giving out new characters all the time in raid or something like that, then yeah, that's not gonna be the case, and people might not want to spend in that. I don't know. They need to find a way to increase, not really increase passes, but other avenues to get passes, I guess. I don't know what else they could actually do. I mean, there's a ton of stuff they could do, but I don't know what would work, and then what would also make other stuff a lot less worth using at that point. I mean, yeah, we definitely need a orb or something to increase not experience, to increase fame, because right now we have one for experience, but we don't have one for fame. And I feel like 550 fame, I mean, I guess at lower, not even at lower levels, like I need almost 1,000,000. Even at like level 100, stuff like that, you still need a lot. And like this event, the only reason you would go for it, like with the rewards that it has right now, these aren't the guaranteed rewards and stuff like that. You guys do have to remember that. It just doesn't seem like if I was just a normal player and I wasn't making a video for it or anything like that, and I had the character and maybe I didn't really want to spend all the passes on this one because I'm gonna I want to go through raid or something like that because I need the character in that, or maybe I just need it in the normal events, and then I had to choose between one or the other. I had to choose experiment or raid. Like I'm gonna pick the one I need instead of doing or trying to do them both, just because the rewards are. Yeah, the rewards definitely factor in quite a bit. Plus the credits are just, yeah, they're pretty bad. They are pretty bad. Like 5,000 for 13 passes. Even in the campaign, they're really bad. Like if you go to the campaign currently, let's go to the final fight. Like the final. Well, I don't think you can actually see it because of the way it. Can I see it here? Come on. No, it doesn't show me. Alright, so basically I think it's like 100 more or something like that. But you get 46. Normally I do this one just because it's one fight. You can one-shot it and then you're good to go. And you get it done a lot quicker, and you only lose 100 compared to like this one. Well, technically this one, we can't actually see that one. Use like 100. We'll say 100. It's really not that bad. It's 44k. It's only 10 passes, so we're getting 44k for 10 passes. Like if you're thinking about it, like I should be getting. For an event where I'm spending a lot more, I should be getting just as much rewards in terms of credits, fame. Well, they don't really have to do fame because I can see why they wouldn't want to do like make people like crazy high level, but it's like these events come out every 2 weeks. I can go farm this and get more, like I can get more experience out of farming this with less passes than doing all 3 events put together. And I could probably get more credits as well for less passes. So yeah, it's not really, I don't think that's really big to ask for an increase at least, because it's 10 passes, 3,100, 3,100, 44k compared to what we're almost at the end of this. Like even at this one, I don't think they're giving us that much. So this definitely needs to get increased like a lot. We're spending 13 passes, we're getting 5 and 5, and that's it. Like the only reason we're going up in this, or you would be going up in this, is for the character. But let's say we already have the character 50k credits, maybe 500,000, even that, I'm like 5 million maybe. Like I don't know how many would we get? I don't know how many credits we got going through the entire thing. So you add all the credits up, maybe 1 million credits then for the final reward. I don't know. No, maybe 500k is fine. Because then you have the gold star. I think the gold star saves it if you already have the character. Also, if you already have the character, we should have the option to opt out of getting the character and double the other 2 rewards or something like that. Like they need to implement something there, because sometimes I'll go to the end of the event, but a lot of times I'm just doing it for a video or stuff like that and not for the actual character. But then doubling it, then people are gonna, I was gonna say people are gonna complain, but they get the character, and I'm not complaining that they get the character for free. So getting 1 extra gold star is really, I don't know. I don't know what they could do there, because I feel like if they do that, then people are gonna complain. So I don't know. know what they could actually get done. It's kind of like either way you're gonna piss somebody off, but it's just, plus I don't know if they could actually do that, like have a button to where you don't pick the mutant up and you pick up two, or you get to pick one of the two rewards, because we have three technically, like 50k credits. I don't really count that as a reward. Maybe it was 500k or something like that, but even for me 500k is like it takes me like not even that long, especially if you have a credit farm. That's like nothing. So yeah, maybe getting one of the, like either getting more credits or more stars, because maybe some people don't need the gold stars, but I feel like that's mostly just the high players or people who can actually just go craft them. Like I can go craft them, but that just takes time, so I don't really want to go craft them. But yeah, opting out of not getting the character, unless they're gonna make those characters start selling for a lot more, or like they got to do something with the characters, because like I don't know, probably thousands of characters just sitting there in my inventory with nothing to do. The only reason I didn't sell them, because first off, they don't sell for anything, and second, some of them do have stars on them, and it would be nice if they would implement a way to take off those stars, which I feel like they should have been trying to do, or maybe they did and it didn't work as well. Because putting in 3 characters and getting out, or maybe even putting 5 characters and getting out 1 star back, I feel like that would be maybe pretty hard to do. Because I'm thinking of like Black Hole, but instead of everything being the same, you have a bunch of different characters. Unless you have 5 of the same characters or something like that, which I do have. So I don't know. We'll see what else they're gonna add in. So far, the events, they definitely need to figure out an increase in fame. Experience definitely needs an increase, and then what else? Credits definitely, like out of the 3, I think the one that they would probably more willing to do is credits. Nah, maybe not, because credits, ooh, I don't know which one they would want to do the most. Maybe if they pick one, because let's see, credits help with a ton of stuff. Leveling, like there's so much stuff that credits help with, so I can see why they wouldn't want to do that. Experience helps with leveling, but then you have to have the levels to level those. And then fame helps with getting more gold, so I mean they could do that, so that way people can start to try to farm up. But I don't know if they would want to do that, because like all the higher level people, well, they're definitely gonna do the events first off, so they're the ones gonna be getting the rewards, and we're just gonna pull farther away. I think out of the 3, experience would probably be the least beneficial to the higher level players, but to help people that already have levels or leveling characters. Because if they're gonna have the restrictions, I think that's the best bet to increase. If I would have to pick one of the 3, of course I would probably pick fame. But in terms of like game, all 3 help, but to see how it actually works out, increasing the amount of experience given for just characters would probably be the first test. And then credits. I think credits they could do. I feel like they need to add more stuff with credits besides Evo. Like there's stuff you can do with it, passes, but they need to add more stuff. Credit jackpot or something where it's actually worth it. You got medlab, like there's a ton of stuff credits do, but everyone prioritizes Evo, and I feel like they need to add more stuff in there that's just as good as Evo. which they'd be like, oh, we have characters that are like 5 million or whatever, but like most people, if they have billions of credits, I think they pretty much have the characters covered. So I don't think that's really like a good source. I think that more increasing the credits maybe would help lower level people get the characters a lot better, the ones for credits. But I don't know, they need to add some more stuff for credits. Because you can like refresh PvP, but I feel like it's like, yeah, I think experience first, character experience, just to see how that works out. Credits next, and then fame would probably be the last one. I mean, they could add all those into power-ups, orbs. I mean, we already have the orb one for experience, which works, but even the power-ups for leveling characters isn't that big of a deal. Unless they were to give us like the division, if they were to have maybe made the rewards in that like twice or 3, maybe even 5 times as much, then the power-ups would have affected it a lot more, and that would have been pretty insane. But I think that's why they kept it low. But if they were to add orbs or power-ups for like credits or fame, that would be interesting. I wonder how that would affect the game. Because then you have like you would, if you're farming, let's say, fame, then you would be using 3 characters without attack orbs and stuff like that. Or if you're farming credits, and like the farming the credit part doesn't work in the rooftop. Like if you have the credit orb on, I don't think it should work in the rooftop. Like I think it's only for fights and stuff like that. Because then everyone would just put it on bounty or hunter banker. So unless they restricted those characters with that increased amount, maybe we should restrict them to only have 1, or maybe restrict them to have none, because they already have the increased amount. Because then everyone would just buy a bunch of those orbs and just put them on their bounty, and they would just make the credit farms even stronger. So they would have to restrict them, or let us add them to other characters, or it only works in actual fights. Which people would just still put them on bounty, and then have 2 of those, and then 1 character to farm campaign or events. Because these events don't seem that much harder. I mean, they did increase the levels and stuff like that, but they still don't seem that much harder. I do like how they did limit our stars and stuff like that. Like gens, like they can do so much with just this. So I think that was pretty cool. Everything else, there's a ton of stuff they can still work on, and I'm pretty sure they're still trying to work on it and figure it out. But yeah, definitely orbs would be nice, or just power up for fame credits, because we already have the power up for actual seems like I can kill him. We already have the power up for the actual characters. Maybe if they increase those or make another one, because even with the 300%, it still feels like absolutely nothing, honestly. Like to me it feels like nothing is happening. But then again, like even leveling characters from 100, I think once they get up to about 100 is when it starts, the leveling just starts getting a lot harder. And then you get to 200, then from 2 to 3 is just, it just takes a ton of time. and I feel like it should take a little bit of time, but it shouldn't take as much time as it actually does currently. Because I think leveling one time for a character is what? Well, I guess it depends on the actual level. But let's say, how about leveling in campaign, leveling one time for an actual level? I think it's like 100. For me, I think it's like 150. No. So I think it's a little bit. We'll say 150, but I think it's a little bit less than that. It's 150 fights in campaign at 3,000. I might be more than that now, actually. But yeah, it's like 150 fights. It's 150 fights. You know how long that takes? Even if I'm one-shotting, I'm going first, one-shotting, going first, one-shotting. That still takes a lot of time. But, I mean, it is doable. It is definitely doable. I wonder how much it actually does take. If I need, what, like 909... Ah, it's like 300 fights? I don't know how much it actually is. Ooh, we're almost there. Hold up, let me see how much this actually would take. Give me a second. Alright, so at my current level, it would take 314 fights. If I had no experience. So 314 fights in the campaign to get up one level. I mean, I guess that should be about right, considering I'm at Fame 500, but yeah, 300 fights, that's a lot of fights, man. So many passes there, it's insane. Like, I think even in this, like, the amount of experience I gained from this is so much less, but I spent so much more on this. Although you do get rewards, I guess. It's a trade-off for this, but I don't know, there's still a lot to work on. For the events and stuff like that, though, it is nice. At least we're getting more stuff added on to PvP. I guess these are the quote-unquote dungeons. Although I feel like they could still do dungeons and not really end. Well, I guess I could do endless. I don't know. There's still a lot they can add, but definitely getting this. Wait, what? Why is it only at 10? Wait, whoa. Is it because of when I finish I'll get these? Because this says 10. This is 10k. 10k, and then the character costs 20. I will only get 1,000. Maybe this was 10,000 and 10,000, but 20 passes? Even 10,000 isn't really that much, because we spend 20 passes and we get 9,000. Oh my god, it's 3 fights. Oh, yo. Oh, he looks so good. I don't have him because I kind of missed him when he came out. Wait, wait. Why do they get stars and we don't get stars? Boy, what's up with that? I just noticed, I just remembered, like, I wasn't even paying attention. When they get stars, that kind of sucks. Because that increased, well, depending on the star, it's like 20%, 50%, 150%, stuff like that. Compared to, like, a normal character. Although, technically, like, Colossus is a gold, or, well, not gold, a platinum. Surfer is technically a platinum, so it doesn't really count, but can we kill these guys? Well, I can one-shot them with Colossus. It's just, I don't know if they're gonna be... I mean, you can get through this. 40k. Like, you would just set up your team, your tag, you would probably take down either the first one, the last one, because you're gonna have to tank the speedster unless you use the speedster, but then it's just like you would have to get through the first fight. I don't know, there's a ton of ways to get through this, by the way. Even without really good characters, you can still get pretty pretty far into this, but I would definitely start leveling up other characters besides. Maybe just put like switch out one of your characters on your rooftop for Surfer. Any other characters that don't have a starred variant or star on them, so that way you can hopefully start up with that. I don't know what other restrictions they could put. They could probably put well, there isn't a place for it, but they probably could restrict speed characters or a certain amount of speed on characters, because then that would change up the rooftop, although it would only change it for like a few hours and everyone would go back to the other characters they were using. Like they would, like, let's say they would switch out one rooftop for, yeah, I don't know, the rewards are not what they said they were, unless we get them now. Yeah, the rewards are broken. It is beta though, so. But yeah, that's that. It's basically what it is. Yeah, it would be nice if they actually gave us the option for the mutant, because I don't need the mutant, so it'd be nice if we could opt out to not get it and grab an extra star or extra credits, even just extra credits. So technically you would be like selling the character, but you get because I think selling that character itself is only worth like 600. You guys think I'm playing is really, well, maybe not that one, but like because Zodiac's might be a little bit more expensive, but like a normal character doesn't sell for that much. We'll see when right here in a second. Let me go all the way to the end. And it's not in my inbox. See what I mean? 20k. Although that is silver. Do we have any that are that one isn't? It is 20k. Silver, 20k. 20k. Yeah, they definitely need a maybe opt out of getting the character and get double the 50. Well, it was supposed to be 50k. We only got 10k. I mean, it would have sold for 20k, but maybe doubling that, letting us get like 50, 100k. Actually, getting more than 50k would be nice, because yeah, that's I feel like that's really low for a character. Like they should sell for a lot more. In terms of credits, like not normal like robots and stuff like that, but I mean like Zodiac. Like most people wouldn't sell those, so if we do sell them, we should get quite a bit of credits for them. But I will do the raid next. I'm gonna probably split that up into maybe 50 fights each. Although it's gonna get harder as I go, so maybe 50, 50, or maybe the first one like maybe 30 minutes a piece, however long that is. I'm gonna try to make them 50 each. But I feel like that's gonna be either way too long or that might be way too long, or is that way too short? I don't know exactly how I want to do that one, but I'm gonna start uploading those. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the experiment. Ton of stuff they could still work on. Increasing some of the rewards is probably a definite must for the amount of passes we're actually gonna be playing. Because like if I was actually playing that as a normal player, and I already had the character, I didn't even actually get my gold star on that, so it wouldn't have been worth it. The gold star is a little bit worth it, even though you can technically craft those. That is still something you don't have to craft, but the amount of passes it would take, and let's say you did the first one, the second one, and then raid. Yeah, the amount of passes is insane. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. The events, like when it actually comes out, I don't know how long that's gonna take, but they're normal event ranges, so 2 weeks, so take that as you will. I don't know if we're gonna get another set of events after these expire, but we're gonna do the raid, of course, and then we're gonna do, if they do give us another set, we'll do those as well. Sorry I didn't get the first one up, but like I said, I was messing with my computer. So yeah, we'll talk to you guys later.